Minister Steven Joyce please allow us to listen to your address?
Ina waka, ina mana, ina hoiwa, tēnā koutou katoa. Your Excellency, Ambassador Shur, staff and families of the Embassy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honour and privilege to join you in celebrating the 64th anniversary of Israel's independence. May I offer you best wishes, Your Excellency, from the Government and the people of New Zealand. I'm pleased to say, I think, that I don't have any special effects attached to my speech. But of course, I certainly recall the Beatles song When I'm 64, only just, you understand. For those young people in the room, that's very young. In fact, I'm reliably informed that 64 is the new 54 or 44. So truly your country is very young. The mention of the Beatles brings to mind another Beatles song that is perhaps appropriate for this occasion, and that is A Little Help from My Friends. Now, I will not be singing that one either. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it. But also, not just the song, but the song's lyrics and the importance of friendship. And New Zealand and Israel enjoy an established friendship. Since Israel's independence 64 years ago, New Zealand has supported its right to peace and security with the Middle East peace process an enduring focus. We have done so as part of our support for a sustainable two-state solution to the Arab-Israeli conflict. This is a balanced and even-handed approach, the consistency of which has been demonstrated by our ongoing commitment of peacekeepers in the region for now over 50 years. In recent years, the friendship between our two countries has been reinvigorated. And here I would like to recognise the personal commitment displayed by Ambassador Shur and his predecessors in broadening the linkages between our two countries. The reopening of the Embassy of Israel in Wellington in 2010 was a clear sign that the relationship is deepening. And can I thank also the Ambassador for his invitation to come and visit. This strengthening relationship is very much demonstrated by the two high-level visits that have occurred since we last met to celebrate Israel's Independence Day. In April last year, New Zealand was privileged to host the Speaker of Israel's Knesset, His Excellency Reuven Rivlin. And in June, Israel kindly hosted my former colleague and New Zealand's then Minister of Defence and Science and Innovation, the Honourable Dr. Wayne Mapp, and the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, Professor Sir Peter Gluckman. I know that my colleague, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Murray McCully, is looking forward to visiting Israel in the near future. As you have noted, Your Excellency, science, innovation, and business development have all been particularly strong areas of focus in the relationship over the past year. Not only demonstrated by Dr. Mapp's and Sir Peter Gluckman's visit, but also by the visit to New Zealand in December by the CEO of one of Israel's most successful business incubators, Mr. Oren Gerstein. And can I say, I personally enjoyed meeting him on that visit. It was very early into my new role, taking over from Wayne as Minister of Science and Innovation. And it was one of the most fascinating discussions that I've had so far. The story of Israel's remarkable success in transforming its economy into a high-technology, innovative growth machine is well known. New Zealand is keen to continue to learn from Israel's experience, and we look forward to further cooperation and engagement in this area. And you will be pleased to know, Excellency, that Sir Peter Gluckman is a regular advocate to me of his visit to Israel last year. In the cultural space, I was delighted to hear that preparatory work is underway for the negotiation of a film co-production agreement between Israel and New Zealand. Excellency, this level of momentum is also being maintained in terms of people-to-people contact, as you noted. Since the working holiday scheme between Israel and New Zealand came into effect last November, I understand the scheme has been incredibly popular, and that's a clear sign, I think, that linkages between New Zealanders and Israelis are growing at the individual level too, and that's very important. New Zealand is proud to be the first country to share such an arrangement with Israel. Before I close, Your Excellency, I would like to acknowledge Israel's ongoing support to New Zealand as we continue to rebuild Christchurch. Can we offer again our gratitude to you for your assistance that you have provided New Zealand in the year that has followed the earthquake, in which 3 of your own young citizens tragically died. I would particularly like to pay tribute to the partnership that your embassy has created with Linwood College in Christchurch. Israel's generosity towards the college has enabled the opening of the Digital Learning Centre there in February. This is a particularly touching symbol of the friendship between Israel and New Zealand. Christchurch people will not forget that Israel extended a hand of friendship and solidarity in their hour of need. Which just leaves the rugby. And there's nothing in my script and notes about the rugby. So I suppose the only thing I would say, Your Excellency, is that having just played France and only squeaked past them in the final, we could say we'd welcome the opportunity to play Israel in the final of the World Cup. However, given how quickly your country has developed in the last 64 years, maybe that's something I should just stay quiet on. So, in recognition of our long-standing friendship, can I say it is my privilege, on behalf of the Government of New Zealand, to propose a toast to His Excellency President Shimon Peres and to the Government and people of Israel. Shalom. His Excellency the President and to the Government and people of Israel.